Dear friends, today is the day the neocon cried. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has passed away at the age of 84. And if you go on Twitter and other websites right now, you will see unanimous agreement in terms of people's disbelief, their shock, their sadness. Um, you would think that Cheney had a 100% approval rating. His loss is being felt all across America right now. I even heard that the Wyoming state capitol, people are marching in protest. They can't believe what the news. Surely the man who saved us in the 2000s will be here to guide us through the 2020s. Now, on a serious note, he's another example of what I find kind of interesting. Like, just I guess to go on the personal level, this is probably, I would say, the first major political figure who I was alive during the era of, where they were at their most prominent, to pass away. Right, like I've, different cabinet members, right, have died. Various other presidents and vice presidents, but not one who served while I was around. And I remember the influence that he had, lying us into Iraq, him leaving office. I think it was a 13% approval rating. And during the Obama years, right, his criticism of Obama. And, I thought it was funny that last year Harris embraced his endorsement and Liz, his daughter's endorsement, while she was running against Trump. But it was really sad to think about how the only difference between people like the Cheneys and people like Trump is that the Cheneys aren't crazy enough to lose an election and then, have their supporters or egg their supporters on to believe in, it being stolen or rigged or lost or whatever. But all the same austerity politics at home and foreign terrorism, abroad, they're all for it. And it's really sad, right? That all it takes to be vindicated is to just condemn someone who's slightly worse than you were or who is doing something bad as well. So I don't agree with people who are celebrating his passing because, unfortunately, and this is the reality with most of these people, whether you're talking about Bush 43 or Obama or Biden, none of whenever one of them passes, none of their victims are going to be resurrected. And also, I've said before, I'm not really a fan of wishing that kind of fate on people I didn't know personally. But I get it. I'm not here to make any kind of justifications for mourning him. Just a reminder that he was an awful person, an awful politician, advanced positions which I think were very terrible to the United States. And really the only legacy I would say he has is that he was another one of those Republicans where, again, they do all the horrible stuff, but they're like really into decorum. And there's something really, I don't want to say, I guess, yeah, Shakespearean, right, about him initially being supportive of Trump, right, around the same time his daughter takes his old House seats. And as their support for Trump wanes, he as a person who is out of office, they can't do anything to. But the same state that helped him, come to power right before becoming Secretary of Defense under Bush 41 and then VP, had no problem kicking his daughter to the curb once she started to criticize Trump. And again, this is the kind of infighting that gets a lot of people to start lionizing these atrocious politicians. Because I would always bring up that Liz Cheney's voting record with Trump was like 92%. So there's really not anything here about policy differences when you see people who like Trump, loathe Cheney or Bush or anything, because all of the same crap is still going on, just with a more crude individual. But you get the idea. This is really the worst part of American politics. These like cult of personality, and I don't personally like this person, but they're doing all the same stuff as the other one, so I'll be fine with this one, but not with that one. It's sick stuff. But I don't think his legacy is anything to be proud of. And again, no, I'm not happy about what happened with him. I will say I'm mostly surprised that he passed, because it seems like a lot of the presidents and VPs tend to live into their 90s, like as of late, like over the last few decades or so. So that was the only thing that kind of shocked me, is just I didn't expect him to pass this early, but I guess there were kind of like warning signs, because he wasn't really making public appearances anymore, and that's usually a precursor to the end. Got his loud plane going above me. So if you see any Democrats celebrating his passing, right? Well, basically it's like this. If you see any Democrats celebrating his passing, they should remember that we can cheer on the graves of these people, and it's not going to bring anyone they helped kill back. And if you see any Democrats mourning his passing, like, oh, we're so sad and yada, 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 remember, just because someone is anti-Trump doesn't mean they're pro-worker, anti-war. I mean, like, you don't get all of your horrible positions erased because you've been out of office and you started saying some stuff that wasn't as crazy. So just have to remind people.